They want my product, they just gotta come get it.
Carlos Correa has got a huge chip on his shoulder. What do you think is the best fit for him?
Carlos Correa signed 13 years, $350 with the San Francisco Giants.
He has set the market even bigger than we thought it could go.
Carlos Correa reverse course. No, I'm not going to San Francisco. I'm going to the New York Mets.
Carlos Correa's free agent contract with the Mets still in limbo thanks to medical concerns.
The Correa fiasco becoming an epic fail. I cannot believe it has taken this long.
I do think the Mets have had enough here.
At least one other team re-engaging with Carlos Correa.
Is it a likely possibility that he would actually go back?
The Twins know his medicals better than anybody else.
Carlos Correa back to Minnesota.
This is how we think the Correa story ends.
Man, that happened fast, huh?
Yeah, exhausted right now.
Hey, welcome inside Studio 3 for MLB Tonight alongside former Big Bopper Carlos Pena and World Series MVP Mike Lowell. I am Fred Charles.
Nice compliment.
Yeah, come on, man. I'm with royalty, man. You know, I got to big you guys up. But speaking of big guys up, hey, credit to the Twins, credit to Carlos Correa and his camp. They got it done, and Minnesota fans are going to get to reap the benefits of Carlos Correa staying with the Twins.
Well, we saw how happy Byron Buxton was with his tweet yesterday, and I think that is going to carry over to the Twins fan base, their front office, you know, the on-field staff. Everyone's got to be happy. I mean, this is an elite player at an elite position. And I think the Twins had to get a little creative, and I do think the advantage of having him this past year was a big negotiating tool that worked in the favor of this coming together. I thought you get to know the guy, even if it's for a year, you see how he goes about his business, and you feel confident about offering these dollars, which are astronomical in today's game.
They're familiar with his health history. And look, for the Twins, you know, getting Carlos Correa back, they were definitely familiar with what he could do in between the lines. And after having a 19 and the season in 2020 that was successful, winning their division, and then, you know, not so much this past season, they had to do something, and bringing him back is a huge win for Minnesota. They had to get creative, so we have to give credit to that front office really getting it done and bringing this big ball player. Not only between the lines, but this guy's a leader as well, guys.
Yeah, third time it's a charm. So Giants to say no, Mets say no, but the Twins say yes. It is official. Physical past. Carlos Correa re-signs with the Minnesota Twins to the tune of 6 years, $200 million large, with a vesting option for a series of 4 one-year deals based on plate appearances each season. That could bring the total package to $270 million. So I'll look now at the largest contracts in Twins franchise history. Correa, he's on there twice. Great point made by Mike Lowell. They had him for a year at $35 1/3 mil, and so they got to know the player and really loved what they saw. Also with Joe Meyer, Byron Buxton, and Josh Donaldson on there as well. But Carlos Correa staying in Minnesota.
You know, I'm happy. I'm happy to be here in Minnesota. I'm happy to be a Twin. We started something special last year, and there's some more work to be done. When the news that I was coming to Minnesota again broke out, every single player in the roster texted me, and that means the world to me, because to earn my teammates' respect in such a short amount of time and their love, for me, that's just what it's all about, right? One thing I learned throughout the whole process was that doctors have a difference of opinions. I had a lot of doctors tell me that I was fine. I have some doctors that said, you know, it wasn't so fine. It was shocking to me, because since I had the surgery, I never missed a game. I never got in treatment in my ankle. My ankles never hurt. So, you know, when the news came, it was a little shocking. But at the same time, you know, my focus now is not on that. This deal got done. I'm happy here, and my focus now is to go out there and play baseball. You know, one of my goals is to, you know, hopefully one day be in the Hall of Fame, and in order for me to do that, I got to play really good baseball for a long time. So I want to do that for the Minnesota Twins, and I want to also, you know, be able, through my great performance, help this organization win championships, and that's my focus now.
All right, so we've talked about the ankle injury from long ago. We've talked about all the cheddar. I mean, 6 years, $200 million plus then some. What about Carlos Correa on the field, Mike? I mean, how is he going to help the Minnesota Twins? 78-84 a year ago. This organization that's showing its fan base they want to be factors in the AL Central.
Well, I think a couple things. The AL Central is not one of these powerhouse divisions where it seems like there's three of maybe the best teams in each league in that division. This is winnable. Talent-wise, yeah, they're going to ask a lot of things from guys that are a little bit unproven. You look at their rotation, Tyler Mahle, Sonny Gray, Joe Ryan. What are we going to get out of those guys? We don't really know. I think they're going to have to surpass some expectations in order to be able to compete.
Okay.
But in the end, a healthy Carlos Correa with a healthy Byron Buxton really changes the dynamic of that lineup. So how far can it take them? I don't know. A lot of times the Twins, just much like the A's, 4 or 5 years ago, we always write them off.
Right.
But they're teams that seem to be able to maximize certain situations. The division's winnable. What I love the most about Correa is he's not just an offensive guy. It's a premium position, and he plays premium defense. I think that's the only thing that, not that I'm disappointed the Mets deal didn't come through, but for the player, I think it would have diluted it a little bit moving to third, because I think he's so good at shortstop, and it's a position that, entails so many reps, and you're involved in so many more plays than other positions in the infield. So I think for baseball and for that standpoint, to see him be able to do this hopefully for the next decade is going to be pretty special.
He's got a howitzer, Carlos, for an arm.
Oh, come on. You can hang clothes on that thing. Let me tell you something. This kid, ever since he first came up to the big leagues, which is hilarious because he was briefly my teammate.
That's right, in Houston. Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, and we did a little bit of rookie hazing on him. And he was extremely humble and a great sport and enjoyed it. And we got a great laugh out of it. And, the rest is history. Here he is signing a huge deal for the Minnesota Twins. You heard him talk about the Hall of Fame. He understands and has respect for history. He talked about earning his teammates' respect. That's why I tell you, there's not only what he does on the field, it's also the way he leads, and he leads by example. So this is a huge win for the Minnesota Twins. Now, we're going to ask the question, okay, what's the difference? They really didn't perform last year, and they had Correa. Well, you know what? This is a team that has become a very close unit. There's been some key additions as well. In regards to the offense, we can take Christian Vasquez can swing the bat as well. Yep. Not only can he catch and get the best out of the pitchers, also Joey Gallo. I expect Joey Gallo to have a rebound season here with the Minnesota Twins. And Carlos Correa right in the middle of that lineup is going to be absolutely huge. They need him, and they got him.
Yeah, to your point, they dropped 20 of their last 30, so they ran out a little steam a year ago. But look, up the middle, they're strong with Vasquez. You got Polanco, who's their former shortstop a few years back. They moved him to second base because he struggled a little bit. Much better fit there, plus a good offensive player. And then, of course, you've got Buxton in center field. And I think, Mike, in terms of, what we've seen be successful in the postseason, the last decade or so, even through the sabermetrics revolution, starting pitching, bullpen, and lineup that doesn't strike out a ton, that never fails. And so you look at what they've done with their bullpen here. They've strengthened that up a little bit. They got Jorge Lopez at the back end. Starting rotation, they got names, and that they can improve on that as well. But now all of a sudden, you look at Joe Ryan had a great year. Tyler Mahle is there. Sonny Gray, obviously. So you're looking at a team in the AL Central. Yeah, the Guardians won the Central, but nobody thought the Guardians were going to win the Central last year at the beginning of the season. So they can be right back up there fighting for an AL Central title. And then who knows? You get in, who knows? Look at the Phillies.
Yeah, and on top of that, basically they were in it through August. Yep. I think September was where they kind of hit the skids a little bit. When you start winning, that city becomes a little bit more attractive to everyone. Everyone likes to be part of a winner. And I've never thought that a free agent who does not have a lot of playoff experience is necessary you don't need it to be able to be that much more attractive.
Right.
But a guy who has a track record that he does with not only playoff experience, but playoff production. Yeah. I mean, that puts him at another level. The moment's not going to get too big for him. He's been in a World Series. He's been in multiple CSs. So, this is a guy where maybe some of the young guys can lean on him, and he can give his, at 28, he'll be the wily veteran, having that positive effect when sometimes the game does get too big for some of the young guys. He can have that calming effect. Guys see how the superstars go about their business. And I've always said, when your superstars are the good clubhouse guys, yep, the sum of the parts can be so much better than everyone individually.
I think we can all agree that the record that we saw last season, that's not truly them. So they certainly expect to be better. Again, a winnable division, like we keep on saying. But look, after they cross that threshold into the postseason, we have a player here that has performed extremely well when the lights are on. They have the brightest lights in the game. But they need that type of player. 18 consecutive losses in the postseason for the Twins, by the way. So they need that type of player that when it's time to go, they go. And Carlos Correa is precisely that.
Yeah, that is a crazy streak. I mean,
That's hilarious.
yeah, well, when you think about it, too. Also, by the way, thick skin. I mean, he's been through a lot.
Oh, yes.
In his 8 years in the big leagues, and so this guy knows how to deal with adversity.